NIA seizes a Mercedes car it claims was driven by former cop Sachin Vaze. Key recoveries are made, they say, including over 5 lakh in cash. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray meets Maharashtra DGP, Mumbai Commissioner and Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. Ahead of Prime Minister meeting with Chief Ministers on Wednesday, COVID cases average hits an 81-day high. Cases are now rising in 19 states compared to 4 just a month ago. Union Health Secretary writes to the Chief Secretary of Maharashtra. A central team which visited Maharashtra says that the state is at the beginning of the second wave. Very limited efforts to test, track and isolate cases. There is no indication that AstraZeneca vaccine has caused blood clots, says the Europe Health Authority. Indian government sources also say that no reports of blood clots due to Covishield. There is no pause on Covishield for now. Deputy Election Commissioner Sudeep Jain writes to Mamata Banerjee, says there's an attempt to belittle the institution of Election Commission with repeated innuendos. And protesting bank employees say let banks remain public sector entities. The government says not all banks are going to be privatized. And sports news, England beat India by 8 wickets in the third T20, take 2-1 lead in the series. This case has now turned into a major political crisis, with the opposition BJP attacking the government as it seeks to criticize how the case is being handled by the police. They have also been hitting out at the alleged links between Sachin Vaze and the Shiv Sena.
This man could be Sachin Vaze, the Mumbai police official suspended for his alleged role in the Mukesh Ambani bomb scare case. Sources in India's top terror investigation agency, the NIA, said this is a series of revelations. Parallel to the dramatic course of investigations is the political drama. Vaze's arrest has given the opposition BJP an upper hand in attacking the government, exposing both the Mumbai police's handling of the case and Vaze's past links with the Shiv Sena. But after Chief Minister Uddhav Thakray's second meeting on the crisis in less than 24 hours, the government rejected reports that the Mumbai Police Commissioner could be shifted.
कोई भी सब्जेक्ट हो, उसमें अगर कोई गलत कर रहा है, इसके बारे में कुछ प्रूफ मिला, तो तुरंत उसके बारे में डिसीजन गवर्नमेंट लेगी. लेकिन जब तक प्रूफ हाथ में नहीं आता, तब तक किसी के ऊपर गवर्नमेंट एक्शन लेने का सवाल नहीं उठता.
But the NIA probe into the Antilia bomb scare seems to have raised more questions for suspended Mumbai police officer Sachin Vaze and caused embarrassment for the government. This letter by the Crime Intelligence Unit to Sachin Vaze's own housing society, where he lives, to hand over the CCTV footage is suspicious, says the NIA. The NIA suspects Vaze could be trying to cover up something, as they suspect he was in possession of the vehicle in which the explosives were planted. The owner of the vehicle in which the explosives were found, Mansukh Hiren, died under suspicious circumstances. Devendra Fadnavis in the assembly had alleged Vaze was in touch with him. The NIA is looking at another white car captured on CCTV cameras which they suspect belongs to the police. NIA sources claim or allege Sachin Vaze seized the digital video recorder of his housing society's CCTV footage system. CCTV footage of Sachin Vaze's residential complex deleted from DVR. NIA sources add that the PPE-clad man seen in CCTV footage could be Sachin Vaze himself.
बिल्कुल नहीं, वहाँ की जो फ्रंट है इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. मिलकर चलते हैं. उद्धव ठाकरे जी के नेतृत्व पर वहाँ के सभी वहाँ विकास आघाड़ी के साथी हैं, उनके साथ काम करते हैं.
दुसरं मला असं वाटतं की वाझे प्रकरण अजून संपलेलं नाही. जोपर्यंत मनसुख हिरेन यांचा खून कसा झाला, तो कोणी केला, या संदर्भातला खुलासा होत नाही, तोपर्यंत हे प्रकरण आम्ही लावून.
Vaze has moved the High Court challenging the legality of his arrest, alleging that the arrest indicates ulterior motives and huge political influence. The BJP accuses the Shiv Sena of protecting Vaze. In Mumbai with Sunil Singh and Saurabh Gupta, Usama Shah for NDTV.
Let's now shift focus to coronavirus. With parts of India appearing to enter a second wave of COVID, the centre is now getting serious with states to try and deal with the fast deteriorating situation. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister will meet chief ministers to look at the COVID situation, with the numbers increasingly painting a grim reality.
Ahead of the Prime Minister's COVID meeting with chief ministers tomorrow, the first in over 2 months, the numbers paint a grim picture. And it's not just Maharashtra which is contributing to about 60% of India's cases these days. Cases are currently rising in 19 big states as compared to only 4 such states until a month ago. India's weekly average cases have doubled in the last month, with Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka and Gujarat showing the biggest surge. Kerala still has the second highest number of daily cases, but it has reported the biggest declining trend over the last month. Gujarat, which has shown a 184% surge, today announced a night curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in 4 main cities, Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara and Gujarat. And the India vs England T20 match in Ahmedabad was held in an empty stadium due to rising COVID-19 cases. But in Haridwar, huge crowds continue to pour in for the Kumbh Mela that is set to begin on 1st April. A central team is there from today to monitor implementation of COVID-19 precautions, even though the Uttarakhand Chief Minister has revoked the rule which made it mandatory to have a negative test report. Experts warn that gatherings both big and small are leading to infections. However, government officials say that states need to stop resorting to curfews and lockdowns.
That partial lockdowns are not the answer. Number one, wherever there are gatherings which are expected. Now in 5 places we are going to have elections very soon. So we have to enforce those election guidelines, that we need to again see that the buses or our trains, primarily are not that overcrowded.
The centre had been holding weekly review meetings with states that were seeing a surge in cases, and special teams of experts had also been sent to some states to assist them in controlling the situation. But those did not seem to have made an impact, and now the Prime Minister will be seen again at the forefront of this battle against COVID. In New Delhi with camera person Sachin Gupta, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
Now, the big worry state remains the state of Maharashtra, which recorded 17,864 fresh COVID cases and 87 deaths in a span of 24 hours. Mumbai recorded over 1,900 cases. With a rising number of COVID infections in Mumbai, the Mumbai civic body has now allowed teachers to work from home and conduct online classes from home itself. The central team, which visited Maharashtra, has warned that the state is in the beginning of a second wave.
Crowds at Mumbai's Dadar market with few signs of COVID precautions. This is the kind of public behavior that a central team has blamed for the spike in cases. 6 out of 10 cases are from Maharashtra now.
कैमरा देखकर मास्क ऊपर? नहीं कैमरा देख के मास्क ऊपर। ये अब देखिए एक और शख्स जो कैमरा देखकर मास्क ऊपर कर रहे हैं। सरकार लगातार चेतावनी दे रही है कि अगर कोविड प्रोटोकॉल लोगों ने फॉलो नहीं किया तो वापस से लॉकडाउन लग सकता है। तो आप लोगों की रोजी रोटी पर बात आएगी ना? हाँ। तो आप लोग क्या सावधानी बरत रहे हैं?
लोग ये सोच रहे लॉकडाउन ना लगे। मास्क पहन के भी धंधा लगाए तो ये खाली गवर्नमेंट को पैसा निकालने का तरीका चालू किया है गवर्नमेंट ने। एक दिन में 2 या 3 पावती बनाया है।
The centre has warned that Maharashtra is witnessing the beginning of the second wave. With a positivity rate of 5.1% in Mumbai to 30% in Aurangabad, the centre says there is limited effort to track and trace. The centre says there is limited effort to isolate and quarantine, and says the administration has to enforce measures it was enforcing in August and September last year. As cases spike, the Maharashtra government has announced new restrictions till the 31st of March. All cinema halls will function at 50% capacity. The same rule will be applied to offices as well. Social, cultural, political and religious gatherings will not be allowed. Only 50 people are allowed to gather for weddings and 20 for funerals. For establishments that are found violating the rules, they will be closed till the notification of the central government regarding the COVID-19 pandemic is in force. Maharashtra's health minister says that instead of imposing lockdown, which would have disastrous consequences on livelihood, stringent restrictions have been imposed.
मुंबईमध्ये महानगरपालिकेमध्ये 20 लाख लोकांना फाईन केलं मास्क नाही या कारणाने आणि 42 कोटी रुपये यामध्ये जमा केले. याचा अर्थ एक आहे की आपण जे निर्बंध घातलेले आहेत त्यामध्ये आपण निश्चित कठोरपणाने ते निर्बंध त्याची अंमलबजावणी महानगरपालिकेला अशा पद्धतीच्या फार सक्त सूचना आहेत.
On Monday, 1,712 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in Mumbai, doubling in just 3 weeks. In Mumbai with Pooja Bhardwaj and camera person Rajendra Dhayalkar, this is Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
Let's look at the vaccination figures now. It was day 60 of vaccinations on Tuesday and more than 3.48 crore COVID vaccine doses were administered on Tuesday. 19.11 lakh vaccine doses have been given till 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, Moderna has announced start of a COVID vaccine trials for children. Moderna CEO has said that COVID vaccine trials will be for children aged from 6 months to under 12 years old. There are plans to enroll about 6,750 participants. Pediatric study will help us assess potential safety and immunogenicity of our vaccine candidate in the younger age population. They've said that we're pleased to begin this phase 2-3 study of mRNA-1273 in healthy children in US and Canada. 17.8 million adults in US have received the vaccine as the country seeks to step up its vaccine program. The EU Health Authority has said that there is so far no indication that AstraZeneca vaccine causes blood clots. It has urged the countries to keep using the vaccine after many have suspended that vaccine because of blood clot concerns. The head of European Medicines Agency asserted that the regulator remains firmly convinced that the benefit of the continuing use of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine outweighs the risks.
So while the investigation is ongoing, we are still firmly convinced that the benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine in preventing COVID-19 with its associated risk of hospitalization and death outweigh the risk of these side effects.
Let's shift focus to election news now. Deputy Election Commissioner Sudeep Jain has written a strongly worded letter to West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee saying that there is an attempt to belittle the institution. Sudeep Jain is in charge of the West Bengal elections and the TMC had asked for his change. Now, he has written that notwithstanding the above meetings in Kolkata and in Delhi, if it is stated by the Honorable CM that the Commission should meet political parties, it is only an attempt to belittle the institution of Commission with repeated innuendos and averments. Commission maintains the position that they would not like to keep on being put in the dock for alleged proximity to any political entity, etc. However, if the Chief Minister persists in creating and attempting to perpetuate this myth for reasons best known to her, it is singularly unfortunate and it is only for CM to judge as to why she is doing so. Now, there has been chaos outside BJP office in Kolkata after the party named its candidates for the elections. Those who didn't get a chance are angry that the BJP, in several cases, favoured candidates who had crossed over from the Trinamool Congress.
Scenes like this at the BJP office in Kolkata and like this at Jhargram, where he was to address a rally on Monday, brought Amit Shah back to Kolkata last night post-haste. The stopover was unscheduled. His meeting with BJP leaders in Bengal, long and angry, say sources. From 11:30 p.m. to 3:30, almost sunrise, glaring gaps in poll management were thrashed out threadbare. The Home Minister effectively said, say sources, people are ready to vote BJP in Bengal, but where is the BJP?
कोई भी बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजर उसको नाखुश ही रहना चाहिए, इसीलिए थोड़ा वो नाखुश है। वो बहुत परफेक्शनिस्ट है, बहुत सारे चीज को एकदम बारीकी से उसके ऊपर ध्यान रखता है, थोड़े बहुत विच्युति का भी वो खबर रखता है, तो इसीलिए वो ऐसे ही रहते हैं और वो खुश हो जाएंगे 2 तारीख का बाद।
Top BJP leaders are flying in to Delhi tonight. They need to list 161 more candidates and brainstorm to avoid this eruption over names they have announced already. Many of the candidates were recent imports from Trinamool, Most protesters here from Howrah, South 24 Parganas and Hooghly are fuming against just that. Trinamool come latelys who got BJP tickets.
हम लोगों को वो जो पार्टी है ना टीएमसी का वो पहले 14 दिन पहले ज्वाइन किया था उसको हम लोगों को जो ऊपर नेत्री थे उन्होंने उसको टिकट दिया लेकिन हम लोगों को जो भूमिपुत्र है उसको भी टिकट नहीं मिला तो इसलिए हम लोगों ने यहाँ पर विक्षोभ दिखाने के लिए यहाँ पर आया नहीं यहाँ भी बीजेपी नहीं है बीजेपी वर्सेस टीएमसी से आने वाला लोगों का झगड़ा है कोई बीजेपी नहीं दिए लेकिन कोई टीएमसी वाला हमको नहीं चाहिए.
The Trinamool is scornful.
बीजेपी में सैकड़ों लोग प्रत्याशी हो गए. अभी जिसको नहीं मिलेगा वो तो तोड़भांग करेगा. ये नॉमिनेशन का पीरियड में बीजेपी टुकड़ा टुकड़ा हो जाएगा. उसका हालत और भी खराब.
Forewarned is forearmed, they say, and BJP has clearly spotted a problem. Amit Shah, who has set his party a 200-seat target for Bengal, is watching. His parting shot, supposedly, we need to pull up our socks. Big question, can the BJP? With Judy Shankar, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
Right to Puducherry now, where both BJP and Congress have released lists of candidates. But interestingly, Congress list doesn't have the name of former Chief Minister V. Narayanaswamy. Congress, though, is yet to announce candidate on one seat. It is contesting 15 seats. They have announced 14 names. One seat is still remaining for which they have to announce the candidate. Now, BJP-AIADMK-NR Congress Alliance has also released their list. 2 former Congress MLAs have been given tickets. BJP will be contesting 9 seats and the allies will be contesting the rest of the other seats. The AIADMK will be contesting 5 and NR Congress will be fighting on 16 seats. 4 sitting AIADMK MLAs and 1 former AIADMK MLA have been given tickets. Welcome back. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has assured that not all banks will be privatized and wherever it happens, the interest of the employees will be protected. Addressing the media amid the 2-day nationwide bank strike called by 9 unions against the proposed privatization, she said that the decision of privatization is a well-thought-out decision.
We need banks which are going to be able to scale up. So we have even announced and recently amalgamating banks so that you have banks big enough. So we have brought in banks which are going to be able to meet the aspirational needs of this country. We've announced a public enterprise policy based on which we have identified those 4 areas in which we said government presence, public sector presence will be there. Means that not all of them are going to be privatized.
13 लाख लोग कर्मचारी थ्रूआउट इंडिया बैठे हैं, उनका मुद्दा हमने उठाया और सविस्तर में आपको बताया मैंने।
जी आपने उठाया है, क्या मांग रखी है आपने आज सदन में?
नहीं, सरकार खुलकर आए और उनसे मिले, बातचीत करे, उनके समस्याओं को सुलझाए और जो दबे कुचले हुए लोग हैं उन लोगों को भी जो एक एश्योर्ड जॉब्स थे उस जॉब्स को भी कम कर रहे हैं, ये ठीक नहीं है, ये हमने कहा और उसके बारे में अब क्या उनका आगे रवैया रहेगा देखेंगे.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has said that all institutions of India are under constant assault. Interacting with students and faculty of Brown University, Rahul Gandhi said that even his mic was switched off in Parliament.
There's not a single institution that is not under this type of assault. My mic is switched off in Parliament. In the middle of, while I'm giving a speech, it's switched off. BJP MPs cannot have an open discussion in Parliament. They tell me that. They're like, हमें तो बस बता दिया जाता है क्या बोलना है. It's a straightforward top-down thing.
Well, that's a wrap on this bulletin from the entire team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.